Wait, there we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chia Vander from Independent BC, and I'm thrilled to have joined me today a gentleman from Summerland, and I will let him introduce himself. Go ahead, Roger.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Harrington. I live in the Penticton Summerland riding, and I'm going to be running for MLA under the independent ticket. And so we're going to have an interview, I understand, and you can go and probe.
Yeah, have a little chat, just a quick one. How long have you been involved in politics, and is there any background you'd like to share about that with Independent BC supporters?
So I practiced 43 years as a dentist in the Valley. And up until about a year or so ago, 2 years ago now, I was apolitical. And I was very content to drill, fill, and bill, raise my family, race my sailboats, go snowboarding. And my perspective at the time was the government will take care of things. And in the meanwhile, leave me alone. Big
Yeah.
mistake.
Uh-huh.
I
A little dreaming about the government. Yes, I get it. I totally get it. And what made you consider running as an independent candidate at
so
this time?
So 4 years ago, as you know, we encountered this little virus thing that was going around,
Mhm.
and I and 14,000 other dentists were on the leading edge of that because you'll remember Bonnie Henry and the City of Vancouver and the British Columbia Dental Association allowed the Pacific Dental Conference to proceed, and out of
Yes.
that came some of the very first cases in the province. And then Bonnie threw us under the bus, saying that we were greedy and wanted to run our convention. The fact of the matter is that they were all in it together, and they made the decision, and she gave her blessing for that meeting, and then threw us under the bus the next week.
Oh my gosh. So what happened shortly after that? Is there anything that
So then, of course, the province shut down,
right?
and so we were told we were strongly recommended not to practice dentistry.
Yeah.
And of course, the cry at the time was that the emergency rooms were going to be packed. And if you know anything about dentistry and physicians, when dental patients show up in an emergency room, it's just a non-starter. And
Yeah.
so I continue practicing despite the very strong recommendations. It was not a must not. If you have a must not, it's illegal to practice. It was
Yeah.
simply strongly recommended, and most dentists chose not to. We did.
Wow.
We did it because we wanted to keep the pressure off the emergency rooms, which turned
Sure.
out to be a hoax. And
Yes.
but the other side too is that when a dentist administers the care, they get much better care than they will at the hands of the general practitioner. They're just not equipped for it.
Of course. Of course. That was sort of like the Bill 36, which got everybody up in arms too, right? That's happening now.
Yeah.
And Rick and Sal a year ago attempted to recall the premier and get that bill rescinded or revoked. So that was quite a big deal if it would have gone through. And it was frustrating for all of us to have it not occur. It must have been hard for all of you too, to witness it and want it to happen. We had so much passion behind that, right?
And I was down for the recall campaign. I gathered signatures.
Oh, of course you did. Wow.
And so, I mean, it's a bit of a trip, but what an incredible experience. And we got 80,000 pieces of paper out into people's hands and just talked to them about.
Yeah.
It was Bill 36.
Kind of a little part of history.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't successful, it was in the sense that a lot of people came together and a lot of people's eyes were opened about a lot of things besides not just, but Bill 36. So what do you see yourself to set you apart from everyone else or anyone else against the three political parties? What would set you apart to effectively represent your constituency if elected as an MLA going into the Lions Den in Victoria?
So the biggest thing that I think we're facing is the lack of accountability of the elected politicians, the lack of accountability by the unelected people like the PHO, the public health officer. So
Yeah.
what sets us apart, it's certainly I and the other independents, our objective is to be a conduit so that we can message the legislature. And you have to understand that with the party system, the parties go and do the legislative thing, and then they come back to their constituencies and they go, yeah, this is what we did. As opposed to my objective is, what do you need done? What message do you want me to take to the legislature? And then when we're done, I can come back and go, this is what we did. This is what happened. Where do you want to go next? And part
I
of
love
that
it.
too is the dialogue, and there's no dialogue right now.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Is there some important issues in your writing that you would focus on? Anything that stands out?
So in the summer, a group of us went up and down main streets in Summerland and Penticton, and we did a little 3 to 5 question survey and just asked those people, so what do you think the most important issue is? And at the top were cost of living, carbon tax, crime. And when I say crime, also that's the tent cities, the crime, and the drug
Yeah,
addiction issues. So those were the 3 top things. And then some people complained about healthcare, which I call sick care. But
yeah,
at any rate, and that, of course, opened up the conversation for the Health Professions and Occupations Act, known as Bill 36.
right, of
Those
course.
are the things that turned up. Yeah.
So frustrating too that people, because of the media, people had no clue. You say Bill 36, they look at you like you have 2 heads. They go, what's Bill 36? That's insane. And people like you bringing attention to it, and like Rick and Sal, I mean, that was a big deal. That was a huge part of history that you all should be proud of, right? But what is the threshold for candidate signatures for you?
Oh, you need 75 signatures.
55. Okay.
And
Yeah.
we're already over that.
Okay. Nice. So now, any closing statements, anything you want to say um, powerfully and passionately to all of the listeners right now to finish up?
I think the biggest thing is that I'm accountable to the constituency, period, which means, again, that we have that dialogue, and that's what's been missing. And then there's the accountability. And so you have to be able to come back to the constituency and say, this is what happened. This is why it happened. What can we do next? And I will be promising and delivering in the sense of, we're going to have town hall meetings on a 3-month basis, again, so that we can have that dialogue openly and move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I'm excited to see how this goes and where you go. And I was honored to speak with you, and I'm proud of you for all you've done. And I hope to speak with you again very, very soon. Thank you so much, Roger.
Thank you, Chia.
Okay. Bye. See you, everybody.
Stay still.